Most people think hackers only target big companies, but the truth is, the easiest targets are everyday people. Today, I'm sitting down with my friend who is deep into cybersecurity to talk about the easiest mistake people make and how you can protect yourself easily. Welcome to Knee Champion Studios. Today I'm with my friend here, Eddie, and we are going to learn from him how we can be safe on the internet and the best practices we can use when we use things online. So, quick intro. Tell us who you are, what you do, and how you go into cybersecurity.
Yeah, so like Nee said, my name is Eddie, and I'm really passionate about protecting people. Um, I kind of got into cybersecurity because I had some friends who were victims to social media hacks. I could see how that really disrupted their lives. Because I mean, we're all tied to our social media accounts, but I've always thought that it would be good to be in a position where I can protect others and stop that from happening. And when I found cybersecurity in college, I knew that this was what I wanted to do, to use my skills and my knowledge to help protect others and keep them safe.
So, the first question I really want to ask is what is the number one mistake everyday people make that gets them hacked right now?
Uh, I'd say for sure is poor password hygiene. So people are not using long and complex enough passwords, or they're just using the same password for all of the accounts, right? Like I have friends who will like, oh, I use the same password for everything. I'm like, you really should not be doing that. And they think, oh well, I'm a nobody. Like nobody's gonna want to hack me anyway. I'm like, yeah, but most of the times, like the hacks that people like us experience are rarely ever targeted. They're usually like a matter of opportunity. Someone out there on the internet is just has like this bunch of a list of passwords. Like I'm gonna try the different accounts, right? And so like you could just be just an opportune attack, right? So it's rarely ever targeted. So you don't want to be just some, I guess, just underway kind of attack. So definitely password hygiene is the number one way that people are getting hacked. I feel, in my opinion, is that they're getting hacked is like they're not having good password hygiene, and that includes using password manager. Definitely don't reuse passwords across accounts, because if one account's getting compromised, or if the platform that you have your account with to get hacked, and they're um, again, your information gets dumped, and people can go on the dark web and they can see that, and they can just, oh, this person has password 123 as their password. I bet he has the same account, same password on other accounts, and they're just gonna try and get in. It could be, you could think, oh, it's a Netflix account, right? Who uses Netflix? But if you use that same account for Netflix and use for your bank, right? Again, two different things, but so you want to be careful with that for sure.
Okay, so we should have different password for every account we have. Okay, and what would be the number of characters we should have for a strong password, in your opinion?
I'd say at least 12 to
At least 12,
14,
12 to 14.
just because their their let's see their databases out there that have like every single possible combination of the English alphabet and other characters for like eight character passwords.
Okay.
And so eight character password doesn't really cut it anymore. So you wanna make sure that your passwords are long enough, because we've learned that the longer your password is, the harder it is for people to crack it, right? It's not about how complex it is. Like if you think like you have password 123 and you have like an at symbol for A, dollar sign for S, O for sorry, zero for O. Like you think, oh, this is very complex enough. It's really not. So you want to make sure that your passwords are really long. Like I'd recommend like um you have like a sentence, right? It could be like a line from a song you really like, right? You could have that be your password, or whatever. But my opinion would be use a password manager, um, just so that you have some kind of like randomization
Okay.
when you choose your password. But and you can select with most password manager, you can select how long you want you want it to be. So
Okay, that's great. So if you're watching this, make sure your password is long and at least 12 characters.
for
We don't
sure.
want to be getting hacked. I think if everyone's Instagram password was 12 characters, we would have less Instagram hacks. Okay, so how dangerous is phishing in 2026 and what are the sneakiest new tricks?
So yeah, definitely phishing, any sort of like social engineering attack has become 50 times worse with the whole advent of AI. Um, Before, right, you were getting phishing emails from people who were not from English speaking countries, and you could tell like from their emails that okay, this person doesn't know how to speak English like super well, right? And so you could use common sense to like spot like okay, yeah, this is definitely suspicious. But now with AI, right, I don't need to know how to speak English. I could just dump what I want to say into AI, and AI can make that like sound like really really well, like no grammatical errors whatsoever. um so yeah, for sure, and those kind of things are more believable. Another thing that AI kind of helps with phishing is they can make the email a little bit more personalized, right? So you can go to people's social media accounts, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever social media presence they have on the internet, and AI can use that information to craft a very, very convincing and very, very personalized email, phishing email for that user. So you're like, huh, okay, this sounds very true, and so it's easy to click in it. Um, Another way that AI has kind of like upped the game is with the context of vision as well. So people basically calling you over the phone, um, and they try to like maybe get some information from you or try to kind of get control over your account. Before, right, you hear someone over the call, yeah, this is not somebody I know, like you can easily hang up. But now with the right tools and good source, people can clone your data, your voice, and they can replay that, and you can sound like just like your mom, just like your granddad, just like your sister, right? It's scary, but that's what AI can do. Like last year at DEF CON, I got to see the social engineering community. They had like a vision competition where they had competitors use AI for the vision engagement. So it's kind of fun. Like some people like really had um, good, uh, I get good AI agents that had really, really convincing voice that would fool me, I would say, for sure. So that's just kind of like one of the ways that AI has kind of like changed the game for like phishing, vision, literally any social media, any social engineering attack out there is they can make more convincing phishing emails, more convincing text, right? It sounds more grammatically correct, and they can make it more personalized, right? You just dump the information, the source to AI, and AI can craft a little bit more personalized information for that. And then with the case of vision, right, you can clone somebody's voice in 2 seconds, and that's it. Whenever the person's on the call, you sound exactly like. I mean, there'll be because it's computers, right? You can spot differences here and there, but for like the layperson, especially like when you're in a rush or something, like you're like doing your thing and you hear your mother's voice, like you're just doing your thing, or you hear your sister's voice, you're just doing your thing. So it's very easy for people to kind of get
Oh, okay.
hacked that way.
Cool. So it's just we need to pay attention and
Pay attention, like yeah, for phishing, pay attention for sure. I would say there's some signs like an email can be phishing, like urgency for one. If it wants you to do something like now, oh, click on this link now. You have 2 hours before the link expires. You like whenever something is making you like rush, it's a sign that you should stop and think, hey, what am I doing here?
okay.
Another thing is like scarcity. So, it's like, oh, this is the last two prize or last two gift cards or
Oh
last
yeah.
two coupons, right? Another thing is authority, right? As humans, we're wired to, I guess, respect authority, right? So someone is coming from a place that you feel like, oh yeah, they should know what you're talking about. Oh, this is a Microsoft support agent or whatever, right? We're wired to like listen to that person more. Um, another kind of like sign of possible phishing could be empathy, like, oh, I need help, please help me, that kind of thing. And now one that works a lot is fear, right? Is oh, again, this sounds terrible, but it does happen. Like recently, Pornhub got hacked, and all of their premium users, like that information was gotten. So imagine someone who uses that service gets a phishing email, say, "Hey, I saw your I can see the kind of videos you watch and whatever. Pay me so amount of money, even
Right.
though I really like, you know."
Yeah.
So fear, definitely fear is one thing that works, and another thing else is just like curiosity. You know, like humans, you're curious. Oh, it could be like I've gotten a Facebook, like saying like, "Hey, I saw your picture here in this whatever," and
Yeah.
click on it to see, and you think, "Oh, where did my picture end up?" You know, it's just there's just like kind of some of the things that you should look out for. Is like urgency. If you want you to do something like now without thinking, and then scarcity as well. Like it was like five left, you have to hop on the train, like you're gonna
Yeah.
miss out, or like fear, or like empathy, right? I need
Yeah.
help. So those are some of the things that you should watch out for in your phishing
Yeah.
emails.
Yeah, that's definitely very informational. Now, walk us through setting up. I mean, I think we talked about it a little bit, but walk us through setting up a strong password and why password managers are a game changer.
Yeah, they're super good. My professor said this thing to me, and it's like stuck with me ever since. He said every time we choose our own password, it doesn't become random anymore. Like we think it's random, but it's really not. And I started thinking that, like, okay, looking at my own like self, and every time I pick passwords that I thought, oh yeah, this is definitely random, right? Like in the past, like it definitely wasn't random. Like I could see how, like if you're really know Eddie, you could probably see why he would pick that as his password, right? And so you might think it's long or it's complex, but um, like we have to remove ourselves from choosing our passwords. And so using password managers just makes it a little more easy. You don't have to think about it. You just put the criteria you want, right? You could say, oh, I want 14, 18, 20 characters. Or you could say, I want more of a passphrase, or I want to have these certain characters show up, right? So super helpful. You don't need to memorize, like you could have like 30, 40, 50 different accounts out there.
Okay.
You don't need to memorize all of their credentials. You have to only memorize the one master password for your password manager. So it honestly makes things a whole lot better. At least for me, like
Yeah.
I don't make my passwords now. And I don't bother
Yeah.
to remember them. I just need to know my really long and complex like passwords for my password manager. And if I need to get a password, sign in, get it,
Okay.
log in. Right. I don't need to worry
Yeah. So
about
for
it.
our audience watching, what are some of the easy or recommended password managers out there? You
I
know,
mean, free warn, Bitwarden is free. Um, I can't think of actually many of them to my
wait, is it
head.
like Google Manager? Is that would that be considered like a
Oh
password
yeah,
manager?
yeah, yeah. Most again, yeah, that's actually a good point. Most mobile devices come with like an inbuilt sort of password
Okay.
manager, so you could use that as well. I just prefer to use something different so that I can have on multiple devices, right?
Okay.
So if I'm using like an Apple password manager, or it might be on my Apple devices, right? But if I use something different, I just have an app that I can install on my computer, my iPad, my phone, doesn't matter, right? I can always get access to it. So,
Yeah,
um,
because I think that there are like myths around that says like like if you're using like the password manager on your phone, like it's gonna give you the option to like press maybe choose strong password or like tap in your own password. Some people like have it in their mind that like choosing that strong password is like vulnerable, but they don't really like know that that's actually like the safe side.
yeah, it's probably safer because it takes out that human part of choosing your password. It makes it a little bit more random. And, like, I understand, right? Security can be a little bit of a hassle. Like imagine you're someone who's not super tech savvy, right? They don't want to go to all that stress. So probably having it on their phone where they could just click copy
Yeah.
paste, right? Could probably easier like in the browser kind of thing. Um, Again, just depends on like what your risk appetite is, what you can condone, what you cannot
Yeah.
condone, right? So, but I'd say, yeah, you can use the ones that come with like your phone, right? They should pretty much do the same thing. So you should be good.
Cool. What should like everyone use MFA, like multi-factor authentication, and which type is the best, and where do people mess up?
For sure. For sure, yes. At this point, at this day and age, you should have MFA on all your device, on all your accounts or your devices. Like I said, like passwords are not, they're not, they're barely like defense anymore, right? People can guess it, people can brute force it. Like there are DOMs on the internet where you can just go and you can find
Yeah.
like huge files of different passwords that people have used in the past. So it's really not it. Using some kind of like multi-factor, some second step authentication prevents that. So in the case that your password gets compromised, right? The attackers will still need to go to some kind of like extra step to get your account. And so having MFA for sure, I would say have app based. So like having like you can have like a Google Authenticator or Okta or Duo, whatever your preference is, right? Just make sure you have something like that, because SMS, all the one-time password that is sent to your phone number, again, there have been cases of SIM swap where people can take over your phone number. Once they do that, all the MFA
Yeah.
codes are getting sent to them instead. So having app or more like hardware kind of like ways of authenticating will be good because you you have that, you're in control of that, right? So yeah, I said that was the way to go. Again, for like regular people like you and I, we're rarely ever going to be targeted by sophisticated threat actors, right?
Yeah.
Nobody's going to spend billions or millions or hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of exploit on some random person, right? They're
Yeah.
going to try to do it the easy way, right? Log in into your account. And so, yeah, the identity um, surface is where everything's going to be at. So just make sure that, again, you're being safe. So definitely use MFA on all your accounts because it's an extra step, right? Most attackers will always go for the easier target, right? You can see it even in like I guess in the wild, right? The lions, all the big cats, the target the weakest in the herd. So you don't want to be the weakest in the herd for sure. You want to be the guy that they try to stay away from, right? Because you have good password hygiene, you have good MFA. But if you don't have any of that, they'll go for you. Not because you're some crazy big person, but because you're an easy target. So definitely use MFA for sure. Preferably an application, whatever you want to use, doesn't matter. Um, and you could have one that would require you to actually like type in like a number or a call, whatever, because there's something called like I think I can't remember the name, but I think it's MFA fatigue. So people know that you use MFA, they bombard your account with like MFA prompts, and imagine like you're sleeping in the middle of the night, it keeps like buzzing. You just like
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
click right, yeah, just against sleepy eye, so you don't want that to happen. So sometimes it might better if you might have to like type in some kind of code that's sent to the app, because if you do that, you have to be like fully awake and then, hey, what am I doing, right? But if it's just you click, it might be like you're thinking it's an alarm or something like that. So
Yeah.
um, again, but having MFA is better than not having MFA. Whatever method or you use for your second form of authentication is usually better than just not having anything at all. But my recommendation, get an app that you can use or some kind of hardware key. These are usually the more better ones. If you can stay away from one-time passwords to your phone number, it's probably better. So
Yeah, yeah. Personally, I use the Google one for my Instagram and other social media because I don't want to get scams and stuff. So the next question here is public Wi-Fi's, the myth versus reality. So like public Wi-Fi in coffee shops and airports, is it still risky, and how do you stay safe?
yeah, people have this crazy notion that if you connect to Wi-Fi like in a public place, like you're getting hacked, right? No. And that's because most websites use HTTPS, which is an encrypted protocol, basically how you communicate with your device communicates with web servers, websites, all of that stuff. And because it's encrypted, people cannot see what is in that communication, basically. Um, the problem, however, is though connecting to like a rogue access point, a rogue, yeah, basically like a rogue a Wi-Fi spot. So, for instance, you could be at a McDonald's, right? And McDonald's have like the McDonald's Wi-Fi, and someone could have a different Wi-Fi that has a stronger signal that says is McDonald's spelled differently, and you're like, oh yeah, you connect to that instead. So in that case, because they control um, that connection, right? They're like kind of like a man in the middle between you and wherever you're gonna do. They can see, um, they have a little bit more control over, and they can kind of see a little bit more things, and it can lead to like further compromise. But like genuinely, if you connect to like a genuine public Wi-Fi, right, you should be good. Um, but yeah, that's probably just what I'm gonna say for that. It's not like public Wi-Fi on its own because it uses HTTPS, or because most websites use HTTPS. I'll say you should be safe. The red flag is if you're connecting to a website that doesn't use HTTPS, then I will not even bother to go to that website, whether I'm on a public Wi-Fi or not, because if someone captures that network traffic, they can see clear text
Got
what is
it.
going on between in that communication. But if it's HTTPS, it's encrypted, it's all going to be gibberish at the end of the day. Um, so yeah, public Wi-Fi, good. Just make sure that it's a genuine, it's genuine, right? It's
Okay.
just not something that somebody else like is in his car in the parking lot setting up and yeah. So if
Okay.
it's not that, then you should be good. But
Okay. Yeah, that's good. So public Wi-Fi's are good, but you need to be careful. So the next question is just updates people ignore. Why do like people ignore updates, and what's the real risks today?
yeah, definitely update your applications, your entire operating system. Could be your phone, it could be your computer, and doesn't matter. Just make sure it's updated. Recently, I had to help a buddy of mine had like a website, um, and it it got compromised because I think it was in Next.js exploit. It wasn't the most updated version for that, and so for that particular component, and I guess that's how the attackers got into their website. So, um, for people that have stuff publicly on the internet, make sure that every single feature or component of your website or anything that's public is updated because, again, there are scans on the internet all the time for looking for all of those vulnerable devices so they can test and they can attack it, right? But for us personally, right, just make sure that you're updating your phone. Um, there's this thing called CVEs where security researchers report bugs or vulnerabilities found in operating systems in software applications, whatever. And some of them could be really bad. And so if you're not updated, you could be vulnerable to that really, really bad thing. And again, people out there on the internet looking for devices who are vulnerable, and you could just be target. So like I said, like we said earlier, like whenever you're targeted as like a regular person, it's really it's really ever like targeted just for you. It's just you happen to be
Among those,
among those
yeah.
who were vulnerable, or you happen to be among the weak. So yeah, don't be among the weak. Just make sure that you're having good security hygiene for sure.
Okay, so make sure you are updating all your apps, Instagram, Facebook, and your phone updates because, yeah, they give you the strongest stance when it comes to updates. So, last but one question. What's like the top 5 things someone can do today to massively improve their security?
Uh, I'll say for sure, most of the things I'll say probably be like an identity thing, making sure that you're using that you have good password hygiene. So that includes using a password manager, having long passwords, because length beats complexity. If you have 5 characters or 8 characters and you think it's complex, no, it needs to be long, like 12, 14. You can even have like a passphrase, because if you think it's hard to remember, like at $, £, whatever. Just have a phrase, right? That you can have your password manager generate a phrase for you, um, lyric to your favorite song, whatever, right? It doesn't have to be too crazy. It just needs to be long, 12, 14, decent length. Longer, the longer the better. So 16, 18, however you want to go. It's up to you.
Right.
So make sure you have good password hygiene. Use a password manager. Do not reuse your passwords for sure. If you use the password for one account, do not use that for another account. Um, See what else can you do? Make sure you're updating updating your applications, your operating system for your computer um, and your phone. Another thing to do, especially like in the day of AI, I'd say is for your close friends and family, it might be safe to have like a safe word. It might sound like very like spy kind of thing,
Yeah.
but like if they can clone someone that's close to you, they can clone their voice. Probably having like a safe word that you could tell, okay, if this is really Eddie or not, right? That can help um, to kind of protect from that. So because like I said, like things are always happening, right? You might get caught at the time where your mind is busy with other things. Like we're human beings, we always have something we're doing. So that whole situation could have a negative outcome. So probably having like a safe word you have with your family, your friends, like if you're actually in trouble, say these things, right? So I know for sure it's you, right? So if you get a scam call one day and the person sounds just like me, right? And there's no safe word that you guys had already predetermined, then you can be like, this doesn't sound like this might not be me. And it's important that you might just maybe call the person directly instead of you say, okay, let me call you, and then you call that number and see if it if that person actually picks up. So
Yeah. Well, those are good. So just before we close, where can people like, learn more or start improving their security? Which like sites or resources, if someone wanted to like learn more about this, go and learn.
it's a good question. I'll say for us regular people, I'll say social engineering is it's probably the most important thing to learn. There are different blogs, websites out there. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but simple Google search you should find. But it's definitely like have like blogs. You can have, sign up for like a newsletter that every day you're just reading to kind of keep updated of what is going on. There are different like YouTube accounts out there that do something like that. But I'll say for my absolute favorite to kind of like really cool cyber stories that very fascinating. Darknet Diaries for sure. Um, Listen to it, super fun, super interesting. You can learn quite a few things, but it's not just like you're learning, but it's also very fun to listen to. So
Okay. Well, thank you, Eddie, very much. This was a good, educational things that you have taught us today. So if you're watching, make sure you take all this into consideration. I mean, not even consideration. You need to do it. I dare you to do it. And if this has helped you, share it with someone who also needs it. And we'll see you on the next episode. Bye.